Today, we're going to be talking about an illness that is very widespread across the country. Approximately 3.5 million people are currently infected with this disease as we speak. And that disease that we're talking about today is hepatitis C. Today, to speak with us from a patient's perspective is a survivor of this disease, Miss Cathy Little. Would you say hello to our audience?
Hello, everyone.
And just to remind you all out there in TV land who is watching us right now, who are watching us right now, I am not a doctor. I will repeat. I am not a doctor. I just want to remind you that all of the information that is brought to you on chronic visibility is from a patient perspective. And so, yes, you will see some occasional doctors on this show, but primarily those who are coming to speak to you are those who have endured these situations personally and are speaking to you based on their own personal experience. So Miss Little would like to be introduced as a survivor. And tell me a little bit as to why you say that.
Because basically, I went through the treatment. I went through the whole 6 to 8 weeks of treatment, and I came out very victoriously.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's back up a little bit. The treatment, we're kind of starting at the end, but the treatment, from what I gather, is very intense. Let's start with finding out, talking about how you found out, first of all, that you had the disease, and tell our audience, what is it? What is hepatitis C?
Okay, hepatitis C attacks your immune system. It's just like AIDS, but it attacks your liver. People are living more with HIV, but they're not living longer with hepatitis C because hepatitis C do not give any symptoms.
So you can be walking around with hepatitis and have absolutely no symptoms at all. So how did you know that you had it?
Oh, I had to be tested because what had happened, I went to my doctor, and my doctor was telling me there was a pandemic going around in New York City, and people who ever used was on drugs or anything like that, they had to be tested for hepatitis C. So I went on and took the test, and I didn't think that I would have it, but it came back positive.
And at that point, what was the recommendation from your doctor as to how you would be successful in treating this disease and overcoming this disease?
What I didn't think I was, because my vilos was 3 million.
3 million. What is a vilo?
Okay, a vilo is basically when your enzymes on your liver is above 18 over 8,000, and mine was 3 million. These are the enzymes that's on your liver, and they come to a high rate, and mine was way off the charts.
What do those enzymes do? I'm trying to understand the
hmm
significance of what the enzymes you're referring to do for the liver and for your body.
It started affecting the liver, it started tearing it down. It's the breakdown of the liver functioning. What happens is the liver will start decaying, okay, and it won't function at a normal rate.
Hmm.
So my liver was 3 million, and my treatment was radical because all my organs was going to fail. So they didn't even know if my treatment was going to be likely. They told me. They said, "We don't know if it's going to work or not."
Wow. So, what was the treatment? What did it entail?
Okay. Well, the treatment entailed basically I had to take altogether I had to take like three no 6 pills starting at 7 o'clock at night. Then I had to take another 6 pills at 3 o'clock in the daytime. Then I had to take another 6 pills at 12 o'clock at night. And this is around the clock. And then in the process of all that, I had to take 2 shots of interferon in each one of my thighs. Plus, I had to eat only 21 grams of fat, and I had to drink 18.2 gallons of water around the clock.
That's a lot of water.
Yes.
So what is the interferon done? So these drugs do what? What is the main function? Is it to boost your immune system or boost the production of the enzyme or reduce it?
Reduce it.
Okay. All right. And so the water then was to keep you hydrated during the process.
Yes.
Could you share with our audience then what these drugs did to your body? Like, how did they make you feel taking these drugs around the clock like you had to?
Oh, very fatigued. I was very fatigued. I couldn't sleep. I had sweats at night, and I itched a lot. I felt like lice was on my body, you know. So basically, I was scratching all the time. But they would send me packages of Benadryl so I could like rub my body. One thing about with hepatitis C is you have to moisturize your body constantly. So you constantly have to take showers all the time. You moisturize your body because the medicine that you're taking, it dries you up. So if it's drying you up, you need something to replenish. This is why the water is a major part of it, because if you don't drink the water, you'll get dehydrated. Then if you're dehydrated, then your kidneys start failing, your pancreas start failing. You know, all these things is not working properly. So I had to drink the water, and I had to take the Benadryl, and I had to use the Benadryl cream on my body.
Tell the audience about the side effects.
Well, first of all, my side effects started with me. I lost my sight. I lost my sight. Um, it was a young lady that I love dearly, still today, that helped me through this. And she would cook me food because I only could eat 21 grams of fat a day. Okay? And she would fix me food, and she would, to get delivered to somebody, and they would come down there and, bring me the food for that. And then my body was adjusting, but it wasn't adjusting because I hadn't had any drugs in my system for 26 years. So if you put in some drugs in your system and you haven't had any drugs in your system for 26 years, your body is like in shock.
Yes.
So what happened, my body was going into all kinds of craziness. I lost my sight. My memory was not correct. I would read things that I would normally read, and I couldn't read it well. My speech was slurred. You know what I'm saying? My ability to really walk on my own was off. It was a guy who was showing me how to really walk and take steps because I was really afraid that I was going to fall. My equilibrium was totally off. And the main one that I felt that was really, 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 really bad for me was my derriere. My derriere was very, very intense that when I went to the bathroom, that it was so painful that I had to put towels in my mouth to cry out to my God so it wouldn't hurt if I had to pass feces.
I would imagine that was due to the fact that the drugs were, a lot of those drugs constipate you in a way that
Yes.
you could not imagine,
No.
especially with the high dose of medication that
Yes.
you were taking.
Yes, so I had four surgeries on my derriere, and then the last one. Now this is the one that I didn't want to even be here anymore because I had impacted so bad that that it would not come. It just would not come down. So I was rushed to the hospital, and I had went into the emergency room, and it is called a picking situation when they go into your derriere and pick, they tried to pick it out, and they couldn't get
Mm-mm.
it. They couldn't get it out, so they had to put me under. And even though they put me under, it still would not come down. So they had to give me 6 bottles of medication to soften it to make it come down. And this was October the 21st. October 22nd didn't come down. October 23rd didn't come down. October
Oh my
4th, it
goodness.
didn't come down. And I was taking this medicine 3 times a day. October the 24th, it came down, and I was wearing a TENS
Wow.
because I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold my urine, and I could not hold my bowels. So I had to go buy a TENS and wear them. And because if I just walk, it would come. If
Wow.
I will, if I will get before I get out of my bed, it was there on the floor. If I go to the bathroom, I couldn't go to the bathroom. It was there.
Wow. So you weren't hospitalized during this time, were
No,
you?
no, I was only hospitalized for 3 days. Then they sent me home
They
with
sent you home.
with the medication,
Hmm.
and then it started working. It was the 4th day of October of 2013.
Wow.
And see, this is the downside because once you take the medication, and because I came back non detectable in 4 weeks, even though I came back non detectable in 4 weeks, I still had to complete the treatment. It was just because, oh, you're non detectable, you can get off the medication. If you try to get off the medication at that particular time, you can still damage your liver. You still have to complete the medication. You still have to go over there 3 times out of the week, maybe 4 times out of the week, because they gotta check your platelets. They gotta find out if you're anemic. They want to know what your blood level is. It's a lot to it. It's not just taking the medication because you got to keep going back and forth to the doctors. They got to check your medicine. They got to check if it's too much. They might have to decrease it. They might have to increase it. You know what I'm saying? You have to get blood
Wow.
blood tests. I became anemic. I became more of a diabetic. I lost. Well, I always kept my hair short, but the it started tearing the pigmentations of my hair. So my hair started becoming more gray. So I cut it even more closer now
Right.
because not so much because I didn't want to look old or anything.
Right.
You know what
Well.
I'm saying? It was just that it was just that
Right.
basically that the pigmentations on my hair was just making my hair thin. That's one of the side effects because your hair will start thinning.
Do you know what some of the symptoms are for people that do? Because some people do have symptoms.
Okay. Well, for me, I can only speak for me. From
Right.
my point of view, I didn't have any symptoms.
Hmm.
I didn't have any symptoms at all. I had to be tested. And when I was tested, it came back positive.
Some people don't take any treatment at all. Like 25% of the people that are infected with Hep C do manage to fight the virus off on their own,
Mm-hmm.
but the other 75% are more likely to develop
Mm-hmm.
liver problems.
Right.
So, based on what you're saying, that everyone has the disease differently, and you and I have spoken about this off the air,
Mm-hmm.
that there are some people who opt not to get the treatment to their detriment. I mean, truthfully, treatment is recommended if 75% of the people
Mm-hmm.
end up really sick with this.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So, based on what you've been through, then, um, what have you learned about how people get the disease? Because this is some things that you shared with me that I find very interesting. Because most people think that it's only HIV, drug use, IV drug use is how you get this.
No, it's you know, basically what I had to research, because when I found out I was hepatitis C, I went on the internet and I started doing research on this, and I found out, you know, we as women, we know we go get pedicures, you know, and if the instruments, each one of the instruments are not covered, when they go into your, you know, your toes, and you want pretty feet and you want to look nice when you go out, you know, all that. And if these instruments are not covered, what happens? The person could have hepatitis C and don't know it, and they're using the same instruments on your toes and see the particles of the blood that you cannot see because it's microscopic, and it goes into your feet or goes and they cut or they nip your toe. That's it. You got it. And then I'm going to tell you other things that you can get it from. You know, you marry and you have a boyfriend and y'all living together and y'all rushing and you say, well, I got to go to work and he got to go. Well, give me a toothbrush. And you pick up his toothbrush and he brushes his teeth or he brushes your teeth. You know what I'm saying? The particles, because you cannot see the blood.
This disease, Hep C, just so for my audience out there, just so that you get this, all right? Hep C is just as dangerous as HIV.
No, let's make this more clear.
Okay.
People are living longer with HIV. They're not dying. They're living longer. They're living productive lives and everything. Hep C attacks the liver. The liver is the main organ, one of the main organs that helps our body to function. When the liver fails, you have to get a liver transplant. And we as African Americans or any other culture, it's hard to get a liver transplant.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be on a waiting list. When you get Hep C, what happens? If you don't get treated and your enzymes are very high, what happens in 5 years? You can get cancer of the liver. In 10 years, you can get cirrhosis of the liver.
So it's basically a very slow
Yes.
death.
Yeah, it's a very slow death, and you don't even know you have it. Do you know that there's 5 million people in Brooklyn alone that has Hep C and don't even know they have it?
Ladies and gentlemen out there, you will see more of Miss Cathy Little.
Yes.
And we have run out of time. We went way over our time here today. So until next time, I'll see you on Chronic Visibility. Take care. Welcome back to Chronic Visibility. I'm sure that there are those of you in the audience who may be experiencing some stress, or you may find that there are times when your memory is failing you. Are you looking for a way to rejuvenate your general health and well-being without having to leave your home or go anywhere? There are ways that you can do this, and to present to us today one of these fabulous tapping techniques is our good friend Nina Owens, who's joining us today. Say hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, so Nina's back, and she's going to share with us, what is the name of this technique that you're going to share with us today?
It's called tapping out your cortices, basically balancing the brain.
Tapping out your cortices. So, Nina, what in the world are you talking about? What is tapping out your cortices? How does this work?
Okay, basically, I just want to say that, again, I'm not a doctor.
That's right. We're not doctors. No doctors here. And
Right.
thank you for reminding me about that. Thank you.
Right. I'm definitely not a doctor. And just briefly, I also do a technique called EFT, but that can be another show. But I was looking at some videos, searching for some videos, and I came across this technique. And I was like, oh, okay, let me just try this. And I was kind of reading about it, and I said, all right, let me try this. And basically, what it is, it's called balancing your brain because they say that some people are left brain thinkers and right brain thinkers.
Right.
So cortices is basically your temporal frontal lobes of your brain.
Okay.
So when you do a technique and you tap on it, it balances your brain and it just kind of promotes overall health and stress and helps you to remember. Like I was telling you, I always, when I'm going into a room, I can't remember why I walked into the room. And since I've been doing the technique, I actually remembered why I went into the room, and I was just so happy about that.
Well, I
So
need to start tapping too then, so I can remember why I go in the room
right.
or why I pick up my phone, who I'm
Right.
going to call, right?
Right. Or if you're looking for your phone and you're talking on the phone, like, where's my phone?
Right,
Where's my phone? Right.
Right,
And you're
right,
talking on
right.
it. Right.
Okay.
So this will help you to remember while you're looking for the phone, you're actually on the phone.
Right.
Right. This will help you to remember
Okay.
that.
All
So.
right. So why don't you share with us how this technique works, and how has it been working for you? You shared a little bit about that. Maybe you can share any other benefits that you noticed.
Okay, well, I just want to say that I used to do this years ago, but I wasn't really consistent at it. So, the very first time that I did it, I felt like after you take a run or you exercise, your endorphins kick in. I immediately felt that the very first time. But I've been doing it consistently for about 2 weeks. I do it first thing in the morning, and I do it before I go to bed. And I actually noticed, too, that it helps me to sleep because
Oh.
I've had problems with sleeping, just PTSD and stuff like that. I just had problems sleeping lately, just on and off for a while, and I noticed that when I lay my head down, I am asleep once I do it.
Oh, that is something that we were talking about earlier, sleeping. So I may need to try adding tapping my cortices to this as well.
Right.
Okay. So how does it work?
Okay, so I just want to just go over some of the benefits that it actually can help with, is as well as the ones that we already mentioned. Just a few. There's a whole list of them, but I'll just go through a few. Headaches, pain, memory, thinking, overall health and well-being, clarity, stress reduction, relaxation, study, and trauma. So, and like I was telling you before, I'm in school right now, so sometimes I just get overwhelmed with studies and just constantly looking at the computer and just can't think. And so sometimes I'll just take a breather and I'll do some tapping, and I notice that I can think a little bit better.
Okay.
I can think a little better.
Okay. That's good. That's great. So now, are there any specific parts of your body that, your head that you're tapping? How does it work? Is there an order in which you're to do the tapping?
Yes, there is an order. You're going to be tapping your brain, and you have to start at the back of your neck. And just
Okay.
depending on how big your head is, like I kind of have a large head because I'm assuming that I have more brains. So that's why that's why my head is bigger than most people. So so just depending if you have like a big head or not, how many steps you would have to go through. And because I have a lot of brains, I have to go through probably about 6 steps. But I can go through the exercise, and you can do it with me, so
Okay.
you can just kind of see how you feel.
All right.
So if you
okay.
want to,
I'll be trying to tap something right here.
okay,
I got my hair all done
yeah,
up.
all looking pretty and
Yeah.
things.
So I'll tap a little bit.
Okay,
how does
so we're gonna start at the back of the neck like this,
Okay.
and you place your hand there, and you're gonna tap your brain like this, and try to have your hand tap. So just gently tap, and you're breathing also. It's like you're breathing, and then you're gonna tap your heart, like right, and just gently tap. I usually do it 3 times, and you tap while you're breathing, and then you tap your heart. So that was 3 times. So then you move it to the next place up,
Right.
and then you still continue to tap your brain, and you tap your heart while you're breathing. Tap your brain, tap your heart. One more time, tap your brain, tap your heart, and then I just go like right here to like the top of the head,
Right.
and then you tap your brain, tap your heart while you're still breathing, tap your brain, tap your heart. One more time, tap your brain, tap your heart, and I go like right here because you know I have more. Okay, see, I have one more extra spot than you because you don't have. I have more. Okay, so, but I'm gonna come down to your spot because. Okay, so we'll go right here. We'll tap.
Okay.
Tap your heart.
Right.
Tap your brain. Tap your heart. Tap your brain. Breathe, and one more time. Tap your heart, tap your brain. Now this is the last step. You're gonna put both hands on the side of your brain and you're gonna tap. You're gonna hold. You're gonna tap your heart. You're gonna tap again. Tap. Hold. Tap your heart. Last time. Tap. Hold. Breathe. And tap your heart. And you're done. So it is said if you continuously to keep doing that, you're going to see a difference. So that took what? 2 minutes?
2 minutes, and I kept forgetting to breathe.
Yeah, you got to breathe.
I kept forgetting to breathe.
Because breathing is very important. Yeah, breathing is very important. So you need to breathe.
Okay.
You need to breathe.
Okay, and so then you'll notice changes then in basically all of the things that you mentioned by doing this.
Right. This is
Okay.
over a period of time. You
Right.
should start to see. Like I
Okay.
said, I've been doing it. This week will be 2 weeks. So, and I've been doing it twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just depending on how I'm feeling. And like I said, I'm not totally, because my short-term memory is a little, jacked up.
Right.
But, so I'm not totally, but it was just so surprising that when I walked into the room, I was like, wow, I actually remember what I was going through. So I
that's
was like,
great.
yeah, that must have to do with the cortices and the fact that when I lay down, I'm actually going to sleep. Most of the time, I kind of toss and turn for a few hours before I go to, but I'm off to sleep within like probably 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, I'm definitely going to try it because
Yeah.
I mean it can't hurt. And
No,
if you're out there watching,
it's free.
you know what? It's something that's free that could benefit you in some way. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But what's the harm
Right.
in trying something new and different that'll help improve the way you feel on a
Right.
daily basis? Well, as usual, Nina, thank you for coming with
You're so welcome.
some great information. And we'll be back next time with more information from Nina. What are we going to talk about the next time? I'm sure she'll have something good for us. See you next time on Chronic Visibility. Have a good day. Take care.